arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight we're doing a Sunday chill-in chat like we do every Sunday evening, talking home arcade. Want to say hi to everybody out there in the audience so far who's made it. The Be Me was the first one in the chat saying, hey Biggie D, good to see you, Be Me. Shotgun Sean just rolled in saying it's Biggie with plenty of G's, Biggie D. Brooklyn Menace as well. Cheers, buddy. Good to see you. Glad you made it tonight. Cheers. Calvin Wong with the grin. Good to see you, Calvin Wong. Glad you made it. So let's get into it, guys. We've got a lot to discuss. A lot has changed, I would say, since last Sunday when we did our stream. Like a bunch of news hit this week. It was just a huge week for gaming, but also just really big for home arcade. There was just so much speculation leading up to Basic Fun these last couple of weeks that, you know, where is the new products? You know, where are these new products? And I was very much adamant about the fact that Basic Fun may have pulled these products, that they may not even have been making these or been trying to get these out by Christmas. You know, I'd said last Sunday, I was like, I've kind of given up on this because we were into September already. We had Christmas right around the corner. Supposedly they were supposed to drop on September 1st for the Australia pre-orders, and that didn't happen. So everything was just not looking too good for that. And then all of a sudden on Friday, all that changed with the news. So if you guys have been keeping up with anything home arcade over the weekend, you probably have already heard about the Wrestlefest Ultra Series cabinet as well as the countercade. We're going to go through all that stuff tonight in detail. We're going to break it all down, so let's get into it. But I want to really start first, before I start with the Basic Fun, I want to start with GIJoel, because these products have really been out longer, and people have already started to receive theirs. And I haven't talked much about these except for, you know, just being a little bit critical of the whole idea and the whole product itself. And I'll just tell you, boy, was I wrong. You know, now that I've seen a couple of reviews, I saw James Hates Everything in his Popeye cabinet, and then Multicade Matt over the weekend in his Playchoice cabinet. These things look really good. I mean, it's not all perfect. I mean, there's still some things you got to consider, and there's definitely, you know, some things you're going to have to work through to get this like perfect looking cabinet. It's not going to just come right out of the box ready to go. But man, was I wrong. I really judged these way too critically based on what I knew. I guess I didn't know enough about them because when I saw these videos and I saw these reviews, it's like everything changed. These cabinets are really badass. I mean, they're freaking awesome. Just really want to show that to you guys so you can see that. And then also just let you know, I was wrong. I was very much wrong in what these had to offer and how great of a product this really is. So these are the two cabinets that I pulled from the thumbnails of both James Hates Everything as well as the Playchoice 10 for Multicade Matt. So let's take a look first at James Hates Everything. His video dropped this week, basically saying this changes home arcade. And it really does, because this is bringing in, I think, more of like the real collectors of real arcades, you know, where the arcade OneUp is more driven and more focused on like low cost entry point, easy to build, easy to put together, you know, trying to take up that market. This is really kind of bringing in those modders, those tinkerers, as well as those real arcade collectors, because these things look so much like the real thing, even though it's smaller. It's so authentic to the true real arcade cabinet. So let's take a look at his video here. These are just some short clips of what James Hates Everything was showing in his video. But just, man, the colors look really good on this. Very vibrant. The game deck, the buttons just look really good on it. The bezel. I love the recessed screen at that angle. With that overlay on top of it, keeping it all enclosed. I mean, that's really what we're missing. We haven't had any arcade OneUp or any product before this that have really offered that. So I think that having that overlay, that enclosed recessed screen in there is just a really big selling point, I think, for this. A real treat for anyone who gets this cabinet, is it's going to offer a completely different look than anything else we've had in our arcades or in our home arcades. So we're getting a look too at James's arcade here. I kind of want to take a look at, just some of the other arcades he has while he was building this one. He's got that XL Pac-Man. He's got the Ridge Racer, the T2, the Atari 50th that we can see in there, as well as the claw machine. So he's been a real big collector of the arcade one-up cabinets. And what's great about GIJoel's is it really just kind of fits in with the rest of these. It's a 3/4 scale deluxe size cabinet. So right next to all these others, it's going to really fit in nicely. It's not going to be overly big or out of place. This is going to fit right into the ones we've already seen from Arcade One-Up in the past. Also looking at the build process too, it looks like it's very similar as well. You can see all the screw holes and everything. It's just, it looks like the pieces are cut almost identical to how Arcade One-Up does theirs. I know that's where GIJoel got his inspiration, and he was a big-time collector of these over, these last few years. He's become accustomed to the Arcade One-Up setup, the pieces that those come in, and he was able to use that as incentive as well as use that as a way to make these, similar, but not in the same exact dimensions. So looking at it, it comes together pretty nicely, pretty easily. I think there's an instruction manual that comes with it. It may be an electronic manual. I see him looking at his phone a lot, as well as you'll see in Multicade Matt's video here in a moment. He's got it on his tablet. So I think it's an electronic manual. It tells you how to put it together. And then he's got the Popeye game running on here. Now, the one thing to note about this is it doesn't actually come with the game system or the board or the Raspberry Pi. It doesn't come with any of that. So you're actually going to have to bring the machine that's going to play the games yourself. So you can kind of pick whatever you want to put in it. You could put a Raspberry Pi in it. He put a mini PC. So James Hates Everything just put a small form factor PC in his. But you really could put whatever you want in there. And Pandora's Box, whatever you can think of that can play these retro classic arcade games, you could throw in here. So just looking at that, it looked really good. I thought that this, if you didn't see the size difference, if this was like a full-size cabinet, you'd have a hard time, trying to distinguish this between the real thing. Like I said, I was completely wrong with these. I basically had said to you guys that I think he's just selling a wooden box, and you have to really bring everything on your own. It's not really that. Really all you're bringing is just the board or the computer or whatever's going to play the games. Pretty much everything else you can get from GIJoel, I've found. So you've got the deluxe shell. This is $500. It's just the shell, the outer cuts of wood, the kick plate, the marquee area, all that. But really just basic, right? Not much to it for $500. You're really just getting that outer shell. So then you can go up and you can spend a little bit more money. You can spend $350 more, and you can get what's called the Intech NES Playchoice Deluxe. And what this is giving you is the Intech gaming deck, allowing you to play like Nintendo games. And then there's the full package, which is going to be the Build a Choice upgrade kit, where you get the marquee art, you get the sticks and buttons, and you get the sound kit. So it's not a one product fits all. He's really got like a different customized package for each person and what they're wanting to do. Like, are they just wanting the shell for $500, put everything else together themselves? Or are you wanting something in there that can actually play the games and give you a game deck, straight out of the box right when you purchase it? You could go with the Playchoice Deluxe at $850. Not a huge fan of this because I would want to put like a Raspberry Pi or a computer in it. I probably wouldn't want to go with the Intech gaming deck. And then I think you've got to get the Let's Go upgrade kit, because that's giving you the sticks and the buttons. It's giving you the sound kit, It's giving you the marquee art. And then you've got these additional add-ons here. You can get the coin door. So there's a lot of customization. There's a lot of thought process going into like building this thing and this thing all coming together, right? Even though I was critical that it was just a wooden box, essentially that's all you're buying. It is more than that, but it's still very involved. It's still a process, right? From the point in which you're buying it to the point in which you're seeing it in your game room and you're able to actually play it. There's a point in which you have to decide, you know, which parts are you going to get, where are you going to source those parts, and then putting it together. It seems like GIJoel has done a very good job as far as breaking it all down, putting it into an instruction manual so you can at least put together the shell, the wood, and the arcade cabinet itself. But as far as your screen, your insides, like the brain of it, your controls, all those things are customizable based on like what you want to do and the idea that you have in mind for this cabinet. So it's very different in like a lot of what other products we cover on this channel and a lot of the other products I've been really interested in, because I do really appreciate and I do like that, like with the arcade OneUp, I just go into the store, I buy it, it's all in the box, I take it home, I put it together and build it, and it's ready to go. Where this, it's like you're going to have to go through different avenues. You're going to have to source parts from different people. You're going to have to really plan it out. And even though this looks so amazing and it looks great, and I think this is like a terrific, amazing product that he's made, I just don't know in the big picture, in the big scheme of things, like when you start talking big numbers, large amounts of customers, you know, how well is this product going to succeed in that kind of environment? I don't know. In a very closed environment in which you're just selling to like your friends or people within Arcades Anonymous, I think that's reasonable. That's something I think he can be successful at, because he can kind of give that one-on-one interaction. He can, you know, take phone calls from his friends. He can, you know, spend hours discussing it with them, telling them how it's going to work, how you're going to put all this together, answer questions. If you run into issues, he can be there. He can be available to help you with those little issues that you run into. But then when he starts selling to a more mass consumer base, how is that going to play out for just a one-man operation like GIJoel? That I don't know about. That I think is where things get a little bit hairy. I just don't know if he can handle that kind of production or that kind of customer you know, support. I just don't know if he can do that on his own. So the only way I could see this product really growing and being, you know, super successful would be for him to grow his operation, hire more people, you know, not do it out of his garage, but maybe, you know, do it out of a warehouse. Those are some things like big picture ideas I think that he's going to have to think about, because I think the success is there for the taking if he wants it, because this looks amazing. The final product is perfect, but how are you going to get more and more people on board outside of just your small circle? And I think that's where you're going to run into some issues. So next, let's take a look at Multicade Matt. So this is his Playchoice 10 review. There's only been 2 of these that I've seen so far sent out. First was the James Hates Everything Popeye. He was the first one to receive his. And then Multicade Matt's the second person to receive his, which is this Playchoice 10 we're looking at here. And you can see the cuts and everything very similar to the arcade OneUp and how it's put together. And it looks like it has these like cam locks, kind of like the iArcade had. And it's, you know, probably pretty simple, I think, to put the shell together with the help of the instructions and, you know, everything Joel's put together for you. And then that screen's either one he sourced on his own, or that's one that he bought through the GIJoel, what is this, Let's Go shell upgrade kit, where I think you can get, yeah, you get a bezel and a 19-inch LCD screen with a VGA output. So that may be what he got there. I think both James Hates Everything and Multicade Matt got the 19-inch LCD monitor from GIJoel. And in both videos, they said the screens looked good. There was no washout on the sides. We could see it there. It looks pretty good. Now the Playchoice 10, I'm not as big of a fan of this artwork as I am the Popeye. I'd probably rather have the DK artwork as well, or the DK Junior. I think the good thing about the Playchoice 10 is he's using the Intech gaming deck, I think, with this one. Let's go back here and look at the video and see. Can we tell what game deck he's using? So I can't tell from here, but it looks like he may have done like a custom build. I think he shows in the video. Here it is. Yeah, so he's got the games list here. I'll have to do some more research to see what his exact configuration was. Was he using the Intech gaming deck? I don't believe so, because I don't see the cartridge there on top of the... There should be a cartridge that sticks out on the NES game deck, and I didn't see that on his video. Yeah, so this may be a custom game deck as well, with just like a custom build inside. So a lot of these you're going to notice are going to be different. They're going to be built differently. The insides are definitely going to be very random in what you see on the inside of these, because again, they're not coming from GIJoel with any type of brain, you know, any type of computer or Raspberry Pi or board or anything that can run it. So just vast amounts of configurations, vast amounts of customization that can be done with these. And really it's just up to your liking and up to your vision on what you think you want yours to look like. But I think most of these are going to end up being Donkey Kong Jr., Popeye, Playchoice 10, like what we're seeing in these videos, because they just look so great in this cabinet style. This form factor, these cuts of these molds look really good. It's nothing that we've gotten from Arcade OneUp. I know we begged over the years for them to make a Nintendo cabinet, and of course that license is just impossible to get. So I think it was really nice that GIJoel was able to fill that void and to be able to make a Nintendo style cabinet for the home arcade community. And really, what I'm going to be kind of focused on going forward is not just how great these look and how awesome these cabinets are, and seeing the enjoyment that people are getting from them, but also following, you know, the growth of this product. Is GIJoel ever going to be able to grow outside of his circle and sell these to like a large consumer base? Is that ever going to happen? And then, you know, I think too, part of that and that happening and that process of that product growing is that he has to make it more user friendly, more intuitive to the you know, first time buyer of a home arcade. You know, make it super simple, you know, to the point where you can buy everything through the GIJoel gaming website, and you can buy it all in one box. So when it arrives, you don't have to go through many different sources to get your parts. You can just get it all through him. I think that's going to be important if it grows, if he wants it to grow. Shotgun Sean says people are enjoying these, have received them. I definitely think so. That's what I've seen. Really good video, I think, from James Hates Everything. Over 10,000 views when I checked today. So this video and this product is really going to get some major eyes on it outside of just the home arcade community. And really great to see the success of this. Brooklyn Menace is here saying the cabinet looks amazing. Yes, I think it looks great. He's done an excellent job with this. Really good job, GIJoel. I think you've done an excellent, amazing product here. Chilada Love says, hey, Biggie, happy Sunday, everyone. Good to see you, Chilada Love. Calvin Wong says the NES cartridge is relocated and hidden. Okay, thanks, Calvin, for the confirmation on that, because I was wondering, you know, looking over this video just dropped this weekend. I haven't really got a chance to really dig into it, but I was wondering, you know, he has the Playchoice 10. The Intech gaming deck would work very well with this setup, because you're really just playing NES games on it. Fits the artwork. It's perfect. But, you know, you don't want that cartridge just sticking out of the top. So great that you can hide that and you can relocate that cartridge insert to inside the cabinet. I think that's really awesome that you can do that configuration as well. Hayden Dew is here. He's saying Joel wants it to be 80s centric. I want to make 90s cabs. I've had back and forths with him. There might be other producers for him and his line in the future. Okay, awesome to hear. That's important, if he can't make that growth on his own, hiring within his own company and, getting his own warehouse space and all that on his own, maybe partnering with other companies, other manufacturers may be a path forward for that. Because he's just going to run into so many limitations, with a one-man operation like he is right now. Because these will be successful. It's just a matter of, can he make enough, and can he make it, customer friendly enough to mass produce these. Also, a 90s cabinet would be awesome. I can see why he wants to stay 80s though. Just keep it simple. Especially this form factor he's got is great, because I think everyone's going to want this DK Nintendo style cabinet. No one's got these yet. So I think starting with something simple and with this design was perfect idea. Maybe broaden out after some of these are sold, and maybe sometime next year think about some other designs. I know I've heard a lot of Robotron 2084 out there, and if I know Joel, which I know him somewhat well from a couple years ago from a couple of events I've met him at, and then also Stock Jock, met him at a couple events over the last couple of years. If I know these guys well and they're very close, that Robotron 2084 is going to probably be the next design, I would imagine, because that's just the one that Stock Jock wants, and they're very good friends. So I would imagine that's the next one. Hayden Dew says it's easier with ship. It's another big benefit. Definitely good to lower the cost of the shipping, get these to a reasonable price point. I thought too, like on the price too, that his prices were fair in what you're getting. I don't think he's charging too much, but with shipping on that note can really drive those prices up to make it difficult to sell them. So it's good he's able to get these shipped out at a decent rate or a decent price. Tomato Sauce says, sup, do you know the price of the WrestleFest countercade? So we do know prices from overseas. We do not know U.S. pricing. We're going to go through that here in just a moment. Godly's here saying, oh my God, yes, I need that WrestleFest day one. So let's take a look at that. Let's get into WrestleFest. I'm going to put my headphones on because we've got some music for this one. And changed the song, because I didn't know if the song that was playing with this video was copyrighted or not. So let's check it out. All right, so this is the WrestleFest Ultra Series arcade cabinet that we've been waiting on. All right, so that's it, guys. Goofyfoot looks like he had a message here. Just says, I hope it stays in this community. There's enough of us to support him. In the end, it's up to Joel. Yeah, that's going to be the big decision he's going to have to make, because the success is there for the taking if he wants it. The product is perfect. It's like fits the perfect need that I think everyone wanted in that style cabinet. Is he going to want to go beyond that? Is he going to want to really grow this and make it some big operation? That's going to end up being the big question, I think, for him going forward. Because everything product-wise with this build choice, what are we calling this? The GIJoel gaming cabinets. He's got it. He has everything he needs to be successful if he wants it to be. So this is the Ultra Series arcade cabinet. We've been talking about this now for months. This has been, something that's been on my eye for a while, and I really kind of gave up on it over the last couple of weeks. There was a guy out of Australia who had basically broke or leaked that these were supposed to become available for pre-order on September 1st, and they never came. So I kind of gave up. I thought that maybe Basic Fun had pulled the plug on these. that there just wasn't going to be enough time for these to make the Christmas window. And boy, was I wrong. I mean, and if I'd waited just a little bit longer, less than another week, you know, they would have came. And I was just a little premature on saying they weren't coming, because here they are. So we've got the Ultra Series. We knew about this one. This is the 3/4 scale deluxe style cabinet. We've got a games list for it now too. It's got WrestleFest, it's got WWF Superstars, Super Dodgeball, as well as the Big Pro Wrestling and Dogfight. So 5 games total. Not a huge games list, but it is nice that they're giving you some variety, giving you like the Dodgeball, throwing that in there with some wrestling games, as well as the Dogfight, which is a shmup. It's a vertical shooter game. So good to kind of mix it up, even though these aren't the greatest, you know, throw-in games. There's something extra, right? Giving you a little bit of variety. Really, the WrestleFest and the Superstars are the ones, those are the big bangers you had to have on this cabinet, which they did get those in there. And we've got, I think, most of the wrestlers. There's a lot of speculation that there may be a couple of wrestlers missing with this cabinet. If you look at the bezel on here, we're missing Sergeant Slaughter as well as the Legion of Doom. So these characters are a big part of this game, and I don't see them just missing just those characters. Like, you would think they would have like excluded like Hulk Hogan. You would think that would have been like the most difficult license to get, but somehow Sergeant Slaughter and Legion of Doom are missing. So surprising to see those names. A lot of speculation saying they're not even in the game at all. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say that they're not in the game. I think they're probably in the game, but if you look at the bezel art, they did have to fit that Basic Fun logo in there. So that could have been a reason. They just needed more spacing, so they had to exclude some of the wrestlers for their bezel art, because it was custom to their cabinet and their size dimensions for this 17-inch screen. So I wouldn't go all out and say that they're missing from the game quite yet. But it is a real possibility. I mean, you know, you would think that that would make sense for them to remove them off the artwork because they're not in the game. Also, there was some previous artwork which actually had these characters. So, you know, maybe there's some truth to that speculation. We'll have to wait and see when we get like official word on like the UI and the gameplay and all that, which we still haven't gotten. We're still looking at renders. So I want to note that. That these are still renders. Outside of this video we just watched, there is no video of the gameplay, but we do get a brief second here in this video of some gameplay, but I don't think we can make out just from these short few seconds if there's any characters missing. Looking at that game deck, it's just a 2-player, 3 buttons. Probably the cabinet, I think the factory that these are coming from is all the same as Arcade OneUp. So I would expect, as far as like the joysticks, the buttons, you know, all that to be the exact same as what we have in our Arcade OneUp cabinets. It's actually very shocking to see how close these resemble the Arcade OneUp. It's like, you would think they would have run into some like legal issues doing stuff so close to an Arcade OneUp, but again, I think that just leads more into my speculation that Arcade OneUp and Basic Fun are working together to produce these cabinets. Like, they're in collaboration somehow behind the scenes to make these happen, because like Arcade OneUp can't make them, or they can't afford to acquire the license. So they're like, we'll help Basic Fun. We'll give you our, you know, our drawouts, all our dimensions, all our patented, you know, parts that we've been making over the years, and we'll allow you to produce these cabinets. You just pay us a small royalty or a fraction of what you make on these cabinets, and we'll allow you to use these parts. We'll allow you to use our specs, everything we've got from all these cabinets we built over the years. I don't know that for sure, but I have a very good idea that, you know, just based on what I've seen and what I've been observing, that Arcade OneUp is working in conjunction with Basic Fun to produce these cabinets. You know, it's not like a direct collaboration where you're going to see Arcade OneUp on the artwork or their logo somewhere on the cabinet, but behind the scenes, they're definitely letting Basic Fun use certain things that they've produced in the past that they should have patented or they should have rights to that we're seeing on these cabinets. So maybe later on that'll become reality and we'll have, you know, facts and to back all that up. But as of now, that's just some speculation I have. So let's take a look. All these images and video that I pulled is coming from a website where this is listed. It is a Australian website. And what's kind of funny is when I bring this website up, my antivirus warns me of this site. So I wouldn't run out and go buy anything off this quite yet. But it's called Arcade Gamer, and it's a basic fun WWE Ultra Series 2-player arcade machine. So interesting because on the artwork it's just WW. It should be WWF. They're calling it WWE. So of course it's called the WWE today. Why it doesn't say that on the logo, I'm not sure. It just says WW. But the actual product is called the Basic Fun WWE Ultra Series 2-player arcade cabinet. This is the Ultra. So this is the 3/4 scale deluxe size cabinet. Here's your side artwork. Here's your games list we were just looking at. Here's a render of it in the room. We've got on the left side here the Supreme 4-player cabinet. On the right side, we've got the countercade, which we're going to look at here in just a moment. It looks like it is a pretty short cabinet. I mean, this is going to be, you know, very standard size, similar to what we're getting with the arcade OneUp. So it's going to be, you know, you're either sitting in a stool or you've got a booster for it, or you've got some like furniture risers, which I use, you know, small furniture risers under mine to bring it up so I can play it standing up. So also something to note with the Ultra line is it doesn't have a coin door. So you've got that huge open space there with just a little bit of artwork there on the kick plate. Looking at the side art, so we are definitely missing Sergeant Slaughter and Legion of Doom on the side art here. But interesting to see that they have Hulk Hogan. You would think if any of these were missing, it would have been him. So let's go back to this website here. Basically just showing that it's got a lit marquee. So how good this marquee is going to look, can't really tell from the render. Hopefully though, it's that semi-transparent, translucent marquee that Arcade OneUp's been using over the last year or two, which looks really good. I would expect these to be the same exact buttons and sticks. It's very interesting to see that that volume slider as well as the on and off is the exact same one I have on the cabinets behind me. So very interesting to see that. 17-inch screen. I think this is going to be the BOE, so it should look good from the sides. Hopefully they never go back to that poor TN monitor, washed out TN monitor. So there, I did notice this as well, is that they must be going with that new artwork that goes on the game deck, which is rub resistant, or you know, can't you just basically cannot rub it off because there is no deck protector in these images. Now, will it ship with the deck protector? Possibly, or it's got that rub resistant or rub free artwork that Arcade OneUp has been putting out recently. So this is the video. This is where I got the video from, was right off the website. So let's take a look at this price. It looks like it's $11.95. So I did the math on this. $11.95 would be $793.48 US. So right under $800 for the 2-player Ultra, which this would be like their deluxe style cabinet. I would think that this one would be about $5.99 at the most. Probably it should be at $4.99 if it really truly wants to compete with the Arcade OneUp Deluxe. So $11.95. This may just be, you know, for Australia. Can we do a straight Australia to US price conversion? I don't think we can with this one because it just doesn't seem to make sense. I think that this is going to probably run you about $4.99, $5.99 at the most. But currently only available in Australia. So that's it on the Ultra Series arcade cabinet. We looked at the games list. We looked at the possibility of missing characters on that one. We also have the countercade. So another thing that kind of makes my belief or my theory seem like it really fits is, like, again, they not only using the parts, they're also using the same naming. So you have your different products, right? Your different categories of products. You have your XL, you have your Deluxe. Now, they didn't call them XL and Deluxe. They called them Supreme and Ultra. But then you have the Arcade 1-Up Countercade, and Basic Fun is calling their countercade the Countercade. So that's interesting, right? Is we have the exact same naming of a product. So I think that really even drives home even more that Arcade 1-Up is allowing this to happen. They may even be assisting and helping Basic Fun to make these cabinets, allowing them to use their naming, allowing them to use their parts, allowing them to use their factories possibly, all in an effort to help produce more revenue for both Basic Fun and Arcade 1-Up. They're working together because Arcade 1-Up just does not have the funding or the resources to be able to produce a lot of these cabinets right now. So they're like, Basic Fun, you guys want to make them? You make them. We'll just tell you how to do it. We'll give you everything we know, and you guys go at it. And you just pay us whatever we think it's worth. And that seems to be the agreement they have in place. So we'll see if that holds true. But this is the countercade. It did show up as well online. And this one's showing up on a European Cotsco.co.uk website. So interesting that these are popping up there, but not here yet in the States. But I imagine any day now, probably by the end of the month, we'll be able to pre-order this at our local Cotsco. Now, I did the conversion on this. This is $189.99. Should be conversion on that would be $257.57 USD. So $250. Again, that conversion just does not seem exact. I would imagine this to be $199 USD, maybe as low as $150 since it's at Cotsco. And this one here is 4 games, so you're not getting all 5. You're only getting 4. You're getting WrestleFest, Superstars. You're getting the other wrestling game in there and Super Dodgeball. So you don't get that shmup. You don't get the vertical shooter in this one. So interesting that they didn't give you that one. Now, this is on the artwork. So they call it the Countercade on the Cotsco website. But then you look at the box, and they're calling it the Counter Series. So interesting there. Like, I think it may just be called the Arcade 1-Up WWE Wrestlefest Counter Series. Maybe Cotsco just threw in the Countercade because they have sold Arcade 1-Up Countercades. Maybe this is a typo on their part that they threw in there. Maybe it's just supposed to be called the Counter Series. 16 inches tall with this one, 8-inch screen. Just a very similar to the Street Fighter Arcade 1-Up that they made, that we saw recently last year. So again, just almost identical to what they were making last year in the countercades for Arcade 1-Up. That is going to be the Basic Fun countercade. Now, what about the Supreme? What about the XL? I think that's the one that most everyone is very interested in learning about because the XL is the one that everyone wanted Arcade 1-Up to make but never really made. They just made that Pac-Man XL. They made that weird one that had all the Williams games like Defender and all that on there, but it also had Golden Tee last year. Those are really like the only XL cabinets that they've ever made. But we just really wanted them to keep pumping out those XLs. Well, Basic Fun is going to follow up, and they're going to make their first cabinet an XL size. It hasn't officially released yet, but we know most of the details on it, and we got a little hint there towards it there in the left side of this photo. Basically showing the 4-player game deck, which is very reminiscent, almost identical to the Blitz 4-player game deck with that slanted style game deck. So again, these are like almost identical to what Arcade OneUp has put out previously, just with the WrestleFest artwork. But the Supreme XL size WrestleFest, peeking out from the left-hand side of the bottom image, it appears to feature a coin door and a 4-player game deck. There's also what seems to be a countercade-sized model sitting on the table to the right. That's what we just looked at here. More details forthcoming on the Basic Fun home arcade products are expected soon. So we've got the website for the countercade, we've got the website for the Ultra series, but we do not have yet a website listing for the Supreme XL series. So why that one's coming last, not quite sure. And when these become available for pre-order in the US, are we going to be able to pre-order the Supreme right out the gate? I don't know that yet either. They could be holding this one back for a period of time for some reason, like it's not ready. They're wanting to make some changes last minute, or maybe they think they'll be most successful in selling the Ultra first and then releasing the Supreme last, like later on. Not quite sure what their thinking is with that. We'll have to wait and see. But bottom line is, right now you can only buy the 3/4 scale Ultra series, and you can only buy the 1/5 scale countercade. The XL, which is more in line with like a full-size arcade, that one is not yet available. So when it will become available, what the pricing is going to look like on it, and the exact features of that one, we don't yet know. The only thing that really came out with what we've seen this week is just this image here on the left side of the 4-player Supreme cabinet there, cut off, where you're really just seeing that game deck and you're seeing that coin door. Now, outside of that, they are going to be releasing the WrestleMania 1/6 scale micro scale arcade. So very common for them to release these really small. This is really what started the Arcade Classics line, Basic Fun line, are these like real small miniature micro scale, like handheld arcades, and they're going to be making the WrestleMania one. And it was interesting too that they're not including like a WrestleFest or WWE Superstars. It looks like it's just going to be WrestleMania. And I think that's probably due to like hardware limitations. They're just using like a really cheap, inexpensive board. Like what can they, least amount can they get away with in one of these is what they're going with. So it's just going to be like a console version of WrestleMania. Did WrestleMania come out on the NES? I know it came out on the SNES. Yeah, so WWE or WWF WrestleMania Challenge came out on the NES in 1990. So that'll probably be the game that you're getting on this one, I would imagine. But I don't know if we have like a website listing for this one yet either. We just had like an image kind of pop up on their website of this one. So what are the future plans of Basic Fun? Like, where are they heading? And I think everything we knew about a month and a half ago is still true today, if even more so true today, because now we have more acknowledgement, more evidence that at least the Ultra series and the countercade are dropping this year, and they are going to become available before the Christmas break. So let's kind of take a look at this from Reddit again. So countercade size cabinets in time for Christmas 2025 retail for around $180. The WWE Wrestlefest we know we're going to probably get now. The Centipede, the Tempest, and the Asteroids are still up in the air. We don't yet know on those. Now the deluxe style ultra size cabinet in time for Christmas, slated to be around $500. With light up marquees, speaker grills. I didn't see speaker grills on this one. I think it's just cutouts for the speakers. Yeah, so it's just cutouts, it looks like. So that's changed. And then $500. Will it be $500? It may be like $599. It could be upwards to $700-800 according to this pricing out of Australia. If we translate and do the exact amount to American. Star Wars possibility. So are they going to make a Star Wars cabinet? Very possible. Again, they're going to be working, it looks like, in collaboration with Arcade OneUp to make these. Star Wars is one of the licenses that Arcade OneUp made a lot of. They may be like, hey, Basic Fun, take this over. We can't make them. We don't have the means or the ability to make these cabinets right now. You make them for us. They're happy to do that. Centipede, we do have images on those from that Toy Book article, but we haven't yet seen any website listings or new information recently, so those may not make that Christmas window. And then, of course, the WWE Wrestlefest is everything we just looked at. Now, the XL size or Supreme cabinet, that's the one that's still up in the air. We don't yet know if that's going to make Christmas, and we don't know yet when those or if those will ever become available. It looks like they're definitely going to become available based on that image. They kind of did a small, cut-off image there on the left side of it, kind of tease it for us. So I think it's definitely coming. They also said there's likely going to be a Centipede Supreme. And then, what else? Because these are going to be in likely the XL. The Supreme will be Sam's, Costco, these big club stores. So what else what other cabinets could come? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, first half of 2026. We did see that image of that Ninja Turtles, which kind of leaked. Now, is this real? We don't yet know if this is real. But it looks very similar to that Ultra Series WWE Wrestlefest we're looking at, which is available in Australia today. So could a TMNT version come out of that in a two-player like that? I think that's a real possibility. Now, will it be this year? Probably not. This is probably going to be more of a 2026 product, I would think. So that's all really good news, right? Being that just last Sunday, I was sitting in this same chair talking about how, Basic Fun may not make anything at all, that they may have just pulled the plug completely on these larger cabinets, just making those 1/6 scale, little hand-sized arcades. I thought that was the path that they were going to be going. So really good to see all this breaking news this week, to know that we didn't just waste all our time leading up to this, that these are, in fact, going to make it. Probably make it before Christmas, it's looking like now. So we've got a lot of chats that had come through during that segment. Papa Brad's Gaming says, hello, gamers. Good to see Papa Brad. Mikey Yuna's here. Good to see Mikey. Damien Deal With It is here as well. What's the price on that tabletop? I don't have pricing on that one. And I don't know if you're referring to the countercade. So that'd be like this 1/5 scale countercade. We just have the price from Costco, which was $189.99. Of course, those are prices from overseas in Europe. If I did the exact amount in USD for that, it came out to $257.57, which I think is about $60 more than anyone's probably willing to pay. So I would imagine $200. They really need to be, $150, I think, with these. And then as far as like these real small, the 1/6 scale micro scale, I have no clue what the price is going to be on these yet. And if someone knows and I find out, I'll definitely let everyone else know. Jabba's Game Hut is here. He's saying, hey, dudes, hope you all had a great weekend. Update your Jaws leaderboard, Biggie. Thanks for the tournament, man. Yes, I saw Jabba made it into the Jaws September pinball tournament. I need to get Jabba's name on there. I have not updated that yet today, but I did see you in there. And I think you've already beaten my score, if I remember correct. Overthink Gaming is here as well. Good to see Overthink Gaming. He's saying, I want that countercade. Is it online? So the one thing is, I don't think any of these are going to be online. These are going to be pretty much just, what you get out of the box, whatever image or, games list or UI you get right out of that box. I think that is it. I don't even think these have online connectivity for updates. I think these are pretty much locked down in that you're just going to get the games that you have. And, no leaderboards, no updates, none of that, unfortunately. But again, I don't think and I've said this before on previous streams, with these new products coming out of Basic Fun, I don't think you need online. A lot of what I've been hearing from people in the community and people that have been interested in getting one of these is they don't play a lot online. You know, like they very rarely ever get on an online match or game. And if they do, it's just so random and so rare that it's not even important to them to have it. I do hear a lot of people expressing interest in wishing that they did at least have leaderboards, because I think the leaderboards are nice, allowing you to rank yourself among some of your friends or others in the community. But I don't think it's a deal breaker by any means. I don't think you have to have online. I don't think you have to have leaderboards or online play in order for these at least first round of cabinets to be successful. I think the real key in what they had to succeed with this was create something new, a product we've never seen before. And they've definitely done that. They've brought us a WrestleFest arcade. We've never gotten this license before. It's new, it's something different, and it's some new games that we've never played, you know, right out of the box with one of these before. So I think that's really the key in what they had to do with this product, was offer us something new, something different, and that's what we needed to see. And you guys just watch. These things are going to sell like crazy. You're going to be seeing these all over people's game rooms over the next few months. You're going to be seeing reviews all over YouTube. You're going to be seeing live streams of gameplay on these. These are going to be really popular, guys. And the reason is it's just been so long since we've gotten anything new from Arcade OneUp. You know, last year, 2024, we're almost through 2025 now. But if you remember back in 2024, it was the year of rehashes, right? It was all rehashes of previously released games list and games and PCBs and all that we had seen already, in just different form factors, new artwork. Arcade OneUp could not bring us a new cabinet in 2024. They can't bring us one this year either. So Basic Fun is really filling that void. They're making something that we've been begging for years now, that everyone has wanted, and that's just something new and something different. So I don't think that I don't think the leaderboards are a deal breaker at all. This will be successful just in the fact that it's offering us new artwork, new games, and a new cabinet. Tomato Sauce says, if that countercade is $99.99, he's going to get it. I think I would be interested in getting one. I was thinking about that today. You know, I'm running out of room. If I want to get like a new deluxe or 3/4 size cabinet, I'm going to have to sell one of my others, which will probably be my Miss Pac-Man. But if I get these countercades, I can really stack these up. I can get several of these and not even think about space requirements, because these can sit on the shelf. They can sit on a table. You know, they can be out of the way. So this is more in line with what I need to get, is the countercade size. Unless I'm willing to sell one of my other cabinets I already have. Brooklyn Menace is saying, nice cabinet. He's liking these new Basic Fun WrestleFest cabinets. And again, guys, keep this in mind too. This is coming from someone who is not a wrestling fan. Like, I've never been into wrestling, never watched it for entertainment, never really been into the video games all that much. I do enjoy playing the wrestling games on my Retromania iArcade. And WrestleFest is a really good arcade game. I like it. But I'm not a huge, like, as a sport, as like entertainment on TV, into wrestling. So I think those that, you know, are huge fans or enthusiasts of the sport are even going to be more all in on these cabinets, because they've really been waiting. They've been waiting, you know, since day one, since Arcade OneUp made their first cabinet back in, what was that, 2018. This whole time they've been wanting a WrestleFest cabinet, and it's finally happening. Overthink Gaming says, man, I miss the home arcade cabinets. So happy home arcade is back. We are back, right? We are finally back. It's back to the old way of, you know, mass producing, you know, big licenses, big games in these consumer-friendly cabinets again. So, you know, like I said, you're going to be seeing live streams, reviews, tons of discussion back on Reddit, Facebook, just because all these new products are coming, and that brings in new faces, new viewers, new people into the community. Damien Deal With It says, can we get a let's go like Cornercade? Let's go, guys. Let's effing go. Super chats, baby. LFG, let's fucking go. Mikey Yoon says 10 super chats and Biggie D will give us a let's go. Let's just do it. Let's do it now. Let's not wait for the 10 super chats. Let's go, baby. Let's fucking go. Yeah, let's go. All right. So we have got basic fun out of the way. GIJoel's gaming cabinets. Big news. I think, the GIJoel's was more of a correction on that. I was completely wrong with his product, and I had criticized that, not knowing exactly what it was going to be or what the final product was going to look like. And, I'm willing to come out and say I was wrong. GIJoel's gaming cabinets are amazing. They're freaking badass. You got to get them any way you can, in the way that you want it. Build it the way that you want it. And then we've got the basic fun. We've been talking for 6-8 months for basic fun. Finally, we're at the point where these are listed on websites, even though they're not American websites. They're overseas in Australia and in Europe, but they're hitting websites, so we know they're real. We know that they're making them, and they're in production. They're coming. So those are really big, I think, moments for home arcade, right? In that we have someone within the home arcade community and GIJoel being successful in making these custom, Nintendo-style cabinets. But we've also got Basic Fun making their new Wrestlefest, which is something new. And then we've got what we've been talking about like last week, Iconic Arcade and John D's Street Fighter. Not XXL anymore, but called the Extreme line of cabinets with the Street Fighter Alpha 2 and the Street Fighter 2 World Warrior. So we've got a lot going right now. But I think, just as important as, the home arcades and arcade cabinets is pinball. Anything that fits into the home arcade or into a real arcade, just as much as the arcade cabinet, are the pinball machines. So I did want to discuss quite a bit of pinball tonight, mainly because we had discussed last week about the Star Wars Home Plus edition pinball machine that's been available at Costco. And that price came in pretty high. It was at, I believe it was $5,000 for the Costco Home Plus. Let me see what their MSRP is on it. I can't remember. Let's see if it tells us here. $4,999. But then we've seen images this week and last week that came out where the price had gone down to $4,200, and then it went down to $3,800 last week. So the prices just keep dropping on this product, and it's going to continue to drop. And eventually what's going to happen is the Home Plus is going to probably be $3,000, $2,500, and then that's going to kind of be my entry point in which I'm going to get like my first real pinball machine, is when I see it drop below $3,000. And I think you're getting a really quality, amazing piece of machinery with this Star Wars Home Plus. If you're able to get one at $3,000, I think that's just a killer deal. It's a great entry point into real pinball, I think, at that point. And really the only deal breaker for me on that Jurassic Park and why I didn't get it is it only had a 7-inch DMD. Well, this new Star Wars Home Plus, it's got a 10-inch DMD, which is, I feel like it's just big enough to make it playable and an enjoyable experience. So that may be part of my future home arcade, is getting one of these and getting them at like a good price, less than $3,000, brand new out of the box. Now I was thinking too today is like, I'm kind of preparing for if that is going to happen. If that's going to happen, what am I going to do? I'm probably going to end up selling a lot of these arcade one-ups behind me. Probably selling 3 or 4 of these and then putting it in this corner right here to the right of me. So, and pretty much take up this whole area here to the right of me. So like Miss Pac-Man would probably have to go, Final Fight, maybe even Marvel Superheroes will all have to go in order to make room for this. But I wanted to talk about this new Star Wars Fall of the Empire because we had watched a teaser of this last week, and I was really anticipating, what this this pinball cabinet was going to look like, and the details on it, because I knew it was going to drop in September. I didn't know what day. I thought they'd actually hold this back until the end of September, kind of lead it more into the Pinball Expo next month. But for whatever reason, they released it mid-month, just this last Thursday or Friday. So let's take a look at this video here. Now, I'm definitely not playing the music with this because it's got Star Wars themed music, which would copyright me in a second. But so no music, no audio, but we can see that the movie assets are in it. It's going to be a lot of, from what I've learned, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So the first Star Wars that came out for Stern, the more modern one that we've seen in the arcades, that one's more based on Episode 4, A New Hope, where this is going to have a little bit of A New Hope in it, but it's going to mostly be The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Looks like it's very Empire Strikes Back heavy from what I can tell, which is great because that's my favorite Star Wars movie of all of them. So great to see that artwork, also to see that in the gameplay, in the movie assets on the DMD. And it also is going to have some new hardware. It's going to have that Spike 3 board we looked at last week, which is in the Home Plus as well. And this is the limited edition artwork we're looking at here. So you've got 3 different options. You've got the Pro, you've got the limited edition, and then you've got the what is that other one? I can tell you here in just a second. Premium. So Pro, Premium, Limited Edition. So the one on the far left here is going to be your Pro Edition. The one in the middle is Limited Edition. And the one on the right, that is going to be your Premium. So let's look at prices on these. So $6,999 is going to be for the Pro. That's your entry level one. $9,699 for the Premium. That's like it gives you all the figures, a lot of what you're going to get on the limited edition as far as like the gameplay and the play field you're going to get on the Premium, but you're not going to get the artwork. You're not going to get those more customized added rails with that armor plate where your hands go, where the flipper buttons are. Also, you're not going to get like the light up speaker grills. And I think like the limited edition looks really good, but $13,000, just tons of money that they're asking for these. Let's take a look at the playfield. So this is a lower playfield. You've got Yoda there at the bottom. It's got a neat little feature to it where it's got a magnetic ball save right there in the middle. So instead of having like a true ball save like right there, it's a magnetic. And there's something within the game where you're actually going to have to grab it yourself by some type of interaction within the game where you're going to have to be quick about it, and you're going to have to try and save that ball. It's not going to just do it automatically for you. So I'm interested to see how that works and how that plays. I think the artwork looks really good. I mean, like what they did right there in the middle of the playfield with the cross of those lightsabers, and you've got the Emperor, you've got Darth Vader, and you've got Luke Skywalker there in that iconic scene from Return of the Jedi. I just think that was like a great decision to put that in the middle of the playfield. It looks really good. So upper playfield, you've got Jabba the Hutt, Millennium Falcon. You're going to have 2 Death Stars, the Death Star 1 and 2. You've got the Walker there. I think those are called, what, the AT-AT Walker. And that will actually fall. So there's a point in which you can strike it and actually make it tumble and fall, just like you would in the movie. So really cool interaction with the, I think, the play field and the characters and toys in it look all really good, I thought. Now, again, all I've seen is what you guys have seen, like in this video, and like watching Justin Console Kits and his coverage early this week. Watched a little bit of Retro Ralph over the weekend and some of his coverage. But of course, I haven't played it, and until I get in front of one of these and actually get to really get hands-on with it, there's not much I'm gonna be able to tell you outside of what I can observe in this promotional video and renders and images. But I think everything looks great. I mean, if you're gonna do Star Wars, I think they did it right, and they went with the right movies, right? I mean, you've got a ton of Star Wars movies to choose from right now. They just did Mandalorian a few years ago, and the Mandalorian movie's about to be out here early next year. So I could see why they didn't do Mandalorian, because they've already got that one recently. And then, they could have gone with the episode 1, 2, and 3 Disney Star Wars. Thank God they didn't do that. I think going with the 7, 8, or 9 Disney Star Wars would have even been a worse decision. To go with 4, 5, and 6 and primarily focus on 5, Empire Strikes Back, and some of Return of the Jedi was a really good decision, I thought. Big fan of this movie, and a lot of what I'm seeing on the artwork and stuff is what I would have wanted on my Star Wars pinball machine. Of course, I can't afford these. These are well out of my price range. The only place I'm going to be playing these are at the local arcade. But if I could be, just like, a lot of the other people in the pinball community and own real pinball machines in my home, I think it's really cool that Stern is offering this like Home Plus edition, which, potentially I could get into a real pinball machine and have one in my home. I think that's really cool. And the fact that this is a Star Wars as well, and even though it's not the Fall of the Empire like these, it's still Star Wars, and it still kind of fits that the fun that people are having with these with the Home Plus edition. So let's take a look at the website here. This is the Fall of the Empire website for Stern. Just kind of looking at the different ones here and seeing if anything really stands out to me. I haven't done a ton of research to tell you the differences between the 3. Normally you can get like an outside look at the play field, and you can pretty quickly tell the differences between the 3 and like what you're missing. But like there's so many images you have to go through to get to what you need on these. It's such a big purchase, I mean, like they're giving you anything and everything you could ever imagine. But let's take a look here. See, I can't get, all right. So can't get like good images of the playfield to be able to tell you live on air here tonight, what this one's missing. Like what is the Pro missing that the Premium has? Like I can't tell you that tonight. Maybe by next week I'll be able to get some more information, be able to tell you guys specifics. But like here's the Pro playfield right here. And I think it looks pretty similar. Man, this website's hard to navigate. There's just so many photos you have to go through to get to what you got to find. So I thought I heard that the walker does not drop, like it doesn't fall on the Pro. But this is the Pro, and this is an image they have related to the Pro right here. And you can see those little screws in its legs, like it would fall. So I don't know. I just need to do some more research on the various options and what those offer to be able to tell you. But one thing I can tell you right off the bat, just from like initial impressions of looking at these, the limited edition looks the best. I mean, they always do. They always go all out, give you all the bells. But like just one thing I've noticed too, and something I've heard this week, is that the limited edition does not have any characters. Like you're not going to find like the actual actors themselves on the artwork with the limited edition. It's just like the vehicles, the spaceships and all that. So we'll see if we notice that here in these images. But you also got that accent lighting where you would put the art blades on the limited edition. It's got that extra lighting there on the sides, which really brightens up the playfield. And yeah, just looks really good. Let's see if I can get an outside view of the artwork here on the limited edition, so we can at least look at the, so you got that right side there. Got Harrison, I think that's going to be Harrison Ford there. And then you've got that that monster there from the cave, and you've got that little robot there in the snow. Just the opening part of The Empire Strikes Back, I think like that first 15 minutes of The Empire Strikes Back was the best like 15 minutes in any Star Wars movie, I felt. Where they call that the Battle of Hoth. So really cool. Fall of the Empire. I thought maybe when I saw this initial logo of Fall of the Empire Star Wars, I thought maybe this was like its own story that maybe Stern had developed for this pinball machine, or maybe this was a book of Star Wars that they had just never made a movie about that story. But pleasantly surprised that they're going with the original trilogy and going with, I think, the most popular and the best Star Wars movies for this one. All right, so that's our Stern Star Wars talk for tonight. Papa Brad's Gaming says, plus, any single pinball gets boring after long enough. Yeah, that's one thing you got to think of, guys, is like, like, let's say I do get my first real pinball machine. It's like, how long is it going to be before I get tired of that and I want to get another one, or I want to have multiple? I think that's, part of the problem with having real pinball machines and not going virtual is that you're limited to just that one game. And once you beat it, you've mastered it. It's like, do you get another one? Or do you sell that one and replace it, because you're getting tired of the one you have? Video Game Vegas says, evening, Biggie D. If you get one of these Sterns, I'll know I'm living in an alternate dimension. It's not going to be one of those three. Like, it's not going to be one of the Ultra or the Supreme, but may get that, or Ultra Supreme. It's not going to be the Pro or the Premium. It's going to be the Home Plus. Tomato Sauce says, don't lie, Damien. I beat you 3-2 on Mario Kart. Happy to sell it, though. No games. Papa Brad's Gaming says, this will be a common pinball. I think so. I did read, too, and I've heard that for Stern, like, out of all their licenses that they sell, the Star Wars is, like, their highest selling, highest grossing pinball license. So easy to remake that one or make another version of it, because it's going to be one of their biggest sellers. Video Game Vegas also says, hello, I disagree. If you can get any of the Elviras, I'll never get tired of looking at those Gonzagas. I do love the Elvira table. It's really good. A lot of fun. Papa Brad's Gaming also says the Yoda's eyes are lighting up is creepy. And I thought that was kind of weird too, because like a lot of the time in the video, you're going to see that the lights are off. But then there'll be points in the game where it's interactive and you'll see Yoda's eyes light up or they'll flash. And it is kind of throws you off. See, like when they're not lit, it just looks kind of normal. But whenever you see them light up, it just really kind of throws off a lot of what you're seeing because you're really focused on Yoda at that point. There it is. You'll see them flash. So the Battle of Hoth was a high point for Star Wars. I think so too. I think that first 15, 20 minutes of Empire Strikes Back was the best Star Wars we ever got throughout all 9 movies. Brooklyn Menace says, who wants to bet that Tomato Sauce will 100% buy another Switch 2 and then sell the second 1 month after? Or 1 month over a month after. All right, so next what we're going to look at is something we had looked at last week as well, kind of a follow-up from last week. And that is going to be the Pac-Man Neon Edition. We looked at this short last week that James Hates Everything had made, where basically he had predicted what he thought the Pac-Man Neon cabinet was going to look like. And he was very close, guys. Like, he was so close. Especially on that side artwork. Now, one mistake he made is he went with the deluxe style, Pac-Man Class of 81, the most recent deluxe style cabinet that they had used for those, which in fact, of course, we should have thought this, that they're going to go smaller, right? They're going to go with that more slimmer design, because everything that Arcade 1UP is putting out nowadays is that slimmer, smaller design. We even saw it with T2, where they even decreased the depth of the T2 cabinet. So I think that should have been easy to predict, but we didn't see it coming. But yeah, they went with this Pac-Man Plus cabinet design, which had that wood style, cabaret style artwork, and they put the neon edition artwork on it. Now, outside of that, it's pretty much all the exact same. It's going to have the same features as far as like the controls, the screen, the marquee, the coin door, all that's the same, as well as the games list is the same. So this is already up as well online. You actually, again, this is not available here in the US yet. This is another overseas website, actually not overseas, this is Canadian website, Amazon.ca. And it's the Arcade 1UP Pac-Man Deluxe at-home machine neon edition, $699 Canadian. So hopefully this is around $499 American. It says you're going to get 14 arcade games, Wi-Fi leaderboard, 17-inch BOE screen, light-up marquee, exclusive cabinet underglow. So this is new. You're getting an RGB strip underneath here, where your feet will sit. You'll have like some neon light from under there. That's new. And outside of that, those same exact games list we've been getting on the Pac-Man cabinets. The dimensions, slim design with the 18 inches of depth, 18 inches wide. And here's your side art. Almost looks very close, not identical, but very close to what James Hates Everything predicted last week. So good job. Props to him for being able to predict that. And then they even went as far as like reworking the artwork on the bezel, the marquee logo, as well as the game deck art is all redone and rehashed, I guess you could say, for the neon edition. And so it's all cosmetic, things that you're going to see on the outside with this one, which is, again, is what Arcade 1UP is going to be doing, is they're just going to be rehashing cabinets. They're going to be low development cost. What changes can they make to re-release a cabinet again that they've released previously in order to keep that license? So we're seeing them do that with Namco, with Pac-Man. They're doing it with Midway in those games to keep those licenses that they have with those games. And then everything else, it seems like they've kind of given up on. They can't make anymore. They don't have the resources or means to make. It seems like that they're handing that business over to Basic Fun. So it seems like Arcade 1UP, they're fully committed to Pac-Man, to Namco games, as well as Midway games and Mortal Kombat. That is Arcade 1UP's bread and butter, and it seems like that's what they're going to continue to make over these next, few years, probably foreseeable future. It's just rehashing these cabinets that they've already made. All right, so that is our Pac-Man Neon Edition that we looked at last week, and we've gotten confirmation on what indeed that was going to look like, because that is really all we needed to know, and all we were really waiting on was what was that exact Neon Edition Pac-Man going to look like, and we verified that this week with that listing. All right, so that is it for Arcade 1UP. Nothing new. I don't predict or see, actually, they did the Mossy Oak Edition Big Buck Hunter, and then they did that T2 Deluxe Slim, then the Pac-Man Slim Neon Edition. I don't see them doing any other cabinets now for the rest of the year. What they're going to bring to CES in January, that seems to be when they really hit the market with new products or reveal those, is going to be CES in January. So for the next few months, I don't really predict Arcade 1UP to have much newsworthy information. But we'll see. I mean, they are still the leader in home arcade. They still have the most products out there. They have the most customers. And, you know, they'll probably stay there for a while till Basic Fun can really get their feet under themselves, start making what they're going to be producing, which is that WrestleFest. And for John D and his iconic arcade Street Fighter to really get off the ground and running. You know, until that happens, Arcade OneUp is going to continue to be the leader in making home arcade cabinets, no doubt about it. All right, so next thing I wanted to talk about with you guys was this At Games news, because I know I talked last week about Sam's Club, and I was really hyped and interested to hear about them being available at Sam's. Finally, the 4KP. Too little, too late, maybe, that they finally got it to Sam's when they probably should have had it at Sam's the whole time. But nice to see that they finally made it there, because I really feel like that's when the prices start to come down, or you get that advantage of maybe getting a really good deal or getting like a closeout special or something like that happens when they become available at big box stores, big retailers. And I thought this was, you know, great news that they were able to finally get that. But then I saw this hit this week in the Facebook group. I did scratch out the person's name because I don't know if they want me sharing their name, but I did share their message because this is from the At Games Facebook group. And it says, hey, I just received my Addams Family 4KP from Sam's, and I'm registering the product on the machine. And I'm to the point where the machine needs an At Games or Kohl's order ID number. I only have the Sam's order ID number from the purchase email. Of course, this machine does not accept the At Games or Kohl's number. Am I the first person who cannot even play their machine? So I just thought, you know, how crazy is it that At Games finally was able to get their store, you know, their product in store at Sam's. And for this mishap to happen, for them to not plan out and know that they have a UI and a system set up in which you have to input an order ID number to activate your product, and to only have Kohl's and At Games Official listed as an option and to not have Sam's in there is a really big mistake, right? I mean, you have brand new customers who just bought this, take it home, and they can't even activate their product. It doesn't even show it's available as a way to activate it in their UI. So that means not only are you not going to be able to play it, you're probably not going to be able to play it for a really long time because they got to get another update out to fix that. So, man, this is terrible news, right? It's just like week after week. Seems like At Games just makes more and more mistakes, but it's like this person is now more than likely just going to go return what they just purchased. And think about the thousands or hundreds of other people out there that this weekend did the same thing, went to Sam's and bought a Addams Family 4KP and get home and they're not able to activate it. So crazy news to see this happen. Video Game Vegas says the 4KP was too little too late when it launched. Totally different than what they originally sold us. That Games is garbage. And this has been a common theme, I think, for the last few weeks, is just, you know, customers being really pissed off, being really unhappy with their customer service, with their decision making and how they're doing things. And again, this just reiterates that again this week with the fact that you literally have customers buying new machines that cannot play them. So I don't know what worse of a mistake a company can make than to not allow their customers to play their machines. But At Games has done that. So Star God Deluxe was a release this week for the 4KP. We had talked about this last week because it was available on Zakaria Pinball. It was $2.99 on PC. And we had heard that At Games was going to be releasing this table for $8 on the 4KP. I was hopeful that it would be, you know, a great table because what was it? Magic Castle was unplayable. This one actually seems pretty good. It seems like everyone I've watched, or at least the reviews that I've seen, everyone seems really happy with the Star God Deluxe single pack, even though it is $8, which is pretty high. I mean, you're more than $3 more than even like the premium Premier Zen tables cost. I think that $8 is way too much. But outside of that, the table's great. I think they've revamped this table for the 4KP, actually put some solid time into redeveloping the table for its platform to where this table plays great. And the sound's good. The gameplay is really good. People seem to be enjoying it. Been hearing nothing but positive things from Star God Deluxe. So bad news with the Sam's Club and the mishap with that and the issues that customers are running into with purchasing the machine at Sam's. But the Star God Deluxe news and this pack releasing and being all that it was supposed to be and even better than what people thought it would be, I think is really good news. So you got to take the good with the bad with that games right now and just be happy that they're releasing new packs, they're releasing new pinball games, and that they play good. Papa Brad's Gaming is saying it is the same game. So he's saying it's the same exact pinball game that you're getting on PC with Zaccaria. But I imagine that there is development time that went into making sure that it fits the 4KP and it plays well on its platform. And that's where they had messed up with Magic Castle, right? Where they brought Magic Castle over to the 4KP and they just did not sink that time into making sure it was ready ahead of time before it released. Seemed like they did with Star God Deluxe, because not seeing anyone really be unhappy with it yet. As far as Magic Castle, I'm not sure if they've fixed it or not. That's a good question, Jeb. I'd be interested to find out. Is Magic Castle playable yet? Because it's been a couple weeks now. Papa Brad's Gaming says you do not need at games to play Zaccaria pinball tables. Yep, I can get my PC, and I was thinking about that, maybe picking up this for $2.99 on PC just to play it with everyone else since they're playing it on the at games. Not a bad idea. So talking about pinball, last week we had did a poll. We had an option of Star Wars, Rogue One, Jaws. What were the other options? The Mystery Island, Vern's Mysterious Island, and then the one that I had really wanted was what game did I do last week that I really wanted to get? I can't remember what that fourth option was now. Forgot now. But anyways, Jaws won, and it was very close, but Jaws won. And this is a really good table. It's a fun table. It's got a lot of the original. It doesn't have all the original actors, but it has like some of the original actors in it. It has Jaws in it. It has a lot of like what you see in the Stern Jaws, as far as where the fin is going across the playfield, and you have to hit the fin. It's got a lot of that in it. So even though it's not exact to like the Stern's Jaws, it does bring back a lot of that feel that you get when you're playing that one. And so I was happy that this had won. Now, one thing I will tell you is that this is a tough table. It is not an easy one. I'm only doing 10 tries this week on this tournament. So keep in mind, make your tries count, your chances count, because you're only going to get 10. And I've already used 5 of my 10. But it's tough. It's not an easy one. And you really have to master what you're going to do and how you're going to score your points, because your ball will drain and it will shoot it right down the middle at you a lot. It's also got some good music to it. It's not like the exact Jaws theme, but it's been changed up a little bit and it still fits the Jaws movie. But having fun with it so far. I do have the leaders up already. Now, I did not take the most recent photo of our leaders. I know Jabba's Game Hut is in the chat, and I know he's on the leaderboard, but my most recent image I'm using for this slide does not have him in there. But currently, when I checked last, Arcade Talk was winning. He has got 13,910,874 for first place. Keep in mind that this is also a private tournament, so you're going to need the password home arcade to join. You're going to have to first search for the tournament, which is this MOHO0GSV6X. And it won't let me make what I want that. It just auto-generates it for me, and that's what I was given for this tournament. And it is case sensitive. So make sure to use capital M, lowercase o, lowercase h, lowercase o, circle, GSV, all lowercase 6, lowercase x. That's how you find the tournament. And then once you find it, you then have to know the password in order to enter. That's going to be home arcade. And I thought it was cool this week that we locked it down with the password, because now we know everyone who's joining are people within the home arcade community. They're people that watch this channel, that are part of the community we built. So we get to compete with everyone we know, which I like that aspect of it. But yeah, so you're going to search for that. There's your password. The rules are classic. So you get 3 balls. You have 7 days from yesterday, so we're at 6 days left today, and you'll get 10 chances. So use those 10 chances wisely. Like what I've done is I've used 5 of those 10, and now what I'm doing is I'm taking a break. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice. I'm just going to play randomly on my own and practice and just learn the table a little bit better. One thing I've noticed, you got to hit that cage in the upper right. There's also a point where like he gets out on the platform on the wood deck there, and there's a point where like jaws will come out, and you got to get jaws to come out, and you got to hit them. I've done that once or twice since I started playing it, but there's a point where jaws will actually come out of the water, and you got to hit him when he's out. And it's a good table, though. I'm glad we chose this one out of the ones that we had available. I just can't believe I can't remember the other option from last week, because that was the one I was hoping was going to win. What was that other table? Let's just take a look at these, because I also wanted to look at them anyways, because they're changing up the deals. Oh, it was Godzilla. That's what it was. It was Godzilla versus Kong, and Godzilla was one of the options. I was hoping Godzilla would win. It didn't. Jaws won. But Jaws, I'm really happy that we're playing that one this week, because it's a hard table, and it really shows who like the best I think are at virtual pinball, because it's not an easy one where you can just keep it going. You got to be really strategic with Jaws in order to score. So this week, Tomb Raider Pinball is on sale. Looks like it's going to be 25% off, $749. I've got this for FXVR, so I probably won't be picking it up on Steam. But then I noticed this pack was on sale this week, which was, I guess because the Borderlands 4 came out this week, Pinball FX kind of want to capitalize on that, and they've lowered their Gearbox bundle down to $5.97. But what I thought was cool is you can buy these individually for just a tad bit more. They're $2.19 a piece. Here's the story, right? I based this off of what I've been hearing from others in the pinball community. But a lot of people in the pinball community said that this Gearbox pack, like Borderlands, even though that's the premier game in the pack, was just not a very good table. They didn't really like it or enjoy it. They also said that about Homeworld. But they did say the real winner in this pack is this Brother in Arms game, Brothers in Arms. So I took that advice, and rather than spending $6 and getting the whole bundle, I just spent the $2.19 and picked up the Brothers in Arms Win the War Pinball. And I'll tell you, this table is awesome. It is really good. The graphics are great. The colors are really good and vibrant. The table layout is really awesome in the way that it's laid out. It feels like a real pinball when you're looking at it from over top, the way the lights are set up and everything, and the lighting is on this, and you're just in like track mode. The table looks really like a real pinball table would in front of you. Also, there's a lot of action going on around the table. So you've got like bombs going off. You've got tanks, you've got buildings getting blown up, you've got stuff on fire in the background within the game. And I think that really adds a lot to it. Because when you're playing virtual pinball, I think one of the biggest things you get out of it are the visuals and the animations. And this one really just uses that to its advantage. Where some of the games, the animations will distract you and cause issues for your experience. This adds to it with Brothers in Arms, I felt like. So this is a good one. If you're going to get any one of these ones that are on sale this week, I think a must-buy is the Brothers in Arms Win the War Pinball at $2.19. So I picked that one up this week. I'll be playing it quite a bit, as well as I'll be playing in the Jaws tournament and using up my last 5 chances in hopes that I can move myself up that leaderboard and beat Arcade Talk. MSU Rich is here saying, hey, Biggie, good to see you, MSU Rich. Glad you made it. Just talking a little bit of Jaws, our September pinball tournament for this month. I'm going to be doing this every month. So we did the Camp Bloodbrook for August. We'll do Jaws for this month of September. And then in October, probably here in a week or two, I'll do another poll. We'll throw out 4 options and we'll vote for another one for October. And we'll just keep doing this each month rather than doing a new tournament every week. Because I'm keeping athomearcades.com up to date with our scores. So I'm actually having to go in and manually enter this information. It's just easier for me to do this once a month rather than doing it every week. So if you go to athomearcades.com, you're going to see here right on the front, Jaws Pinball Tournament. So you can just click right there. It'll take you here. It'll give you all the details, how to join, what platforms it's on, password, how many chances you have until it ends. And then I'm updating our scores here for everybody. I'll do that at least once a day. I'll update the scores, sometimes multiple times a day. And then our current leader right now is Arcade Talk with that score of 13,910,874. So definitely get involved, become part of the virtual pinball community, and come play Jaws with us. Show us, what your highest score will be in Jaws and compare it with us. Video Game Vegas says, Godzilla vs. Kong Zen tables don't make me hard. They stink. Papa Brad's Gaming says $530, 48 cents every table. Jabba's Game Hut says, get on Papa Brad's one ball VR tournament for Theater of Magic 2 guys. Yes, I need to get involved in Arcade Talks pinball tournament. I haven't been doing a lot of VR pinball, actually. I've done a little bit of it, but I've really, like I told you guys last week, I've been enjoying the flat screen X Arcade mod that I have and playing my games that way. Papa Brad's Gaming says, I blew up all my chances because I have to hook up OTG to my @games to play it. It has some lag on the 4KP. Current leader at the moment is Jabba. So Jabba must have moved up the leaderboards. I'll have to go verify that after the stream. I still haven't seen that, but if you are number 1, Jabba, congrats. And even if you aren't, just thanks for joining and being part of the tournament. It's not about who wins. It's just about getting as many people involved as possible, but also a little bit of competitiveness and trying to rank yourself among your friends. Video Game Vegas says, Papa Brad's Gaming, I'm so glad I didn't waste money on a good PC to use on the 4KP. What a disaster. All right, so that is going to be the Jaws tournament that we've got going on. Last thing I really kind of want, big subject, or I guess last segment for tonight, is going to be the X Arcade. We had talked about the X Arcade full body pinball experience slogan they went with for their new pinball haptic kit, which is now available. And we looked at that last week, and it's $150. You can pre-order it. There's some promo codes out there where you can save like 10%, 15%. Also, make sure to use my promo codes as well as use my affiliate link. If you guys are going to go order anything from X Arcade, use this affiliate link. It'll help me a little bit if you guys do that. But here's the kit itself. I went ahead and pre-ordered it day one as soon as it dropped. They did drop a video this week as well, kind of giving us some just additional information, which I thought was cool. So these are your flipper solenoids. So it's an actual real like mechanical solenoid. So you're going to get true feedback and haptic feedback in this once these get installed. You can see they put them right beside the flipper button there, which is great. We've got enhanced 25-watt sound system for realistic arcade atmosphere. Simulate ball rolling bumpers and table action for total immersion. 4 audio-driven vibration modules. So we've got the 4 modules, haptic modules in there. 2 on the sides there where the flipper buttons are, and 2 on the front there, right at the very front. And then we've got also the sound. The sound is haptic as well, because that's going to provide some rumble and some feedback. When the game is making its sounds, those speakers are going to be going off as well at that same time. Just giving you more immersion, more of a feeling like you're playing the real pinball. Because I think that's probably one of the biggest things I'm missing right now with the X Arcade. I'm loving everything about it, right? I'm playing a flat screen pinball table with the vertical screen mod. I've got the bigger DMD screen right under it. And then I've got the physical accessory now, which I can hold rather than, holding a controller and playing pinball. I've got like a real machine with the placement of like where pinball buttons would really be. Now I've got the feel, right, of like I'm really playing pinball as well. But I'm just missing that feedback. The machine isn't moving. The accessory's not moving at all. I'm not feeling anything other than just, tapping the buttons when I have to hit the flipper button. But when this kit comes out, that's all going to change. It's like that machine, that accessory, that game deck is all of a sudden going to start vibrating. It's going to start rumbling. It's going to start being interactive with the game. When the game has certain things going on within it, it's going to then in turn move and vibrate that game pad, that controller, that X Arcade. When I hit the flipper, I'm going to feel it. I'm not going to just hear it. I'm actually going to feel it now. I'm also going to have that more immersive sound, where before I'm just hearing the speakers that I've hooked up to the computer. Now I'm actually going to be getting sound from the X Arcade, from the controller, from where my hands are sitting. So I'm also getting that feedback from the sound as well. So that's all great. And we can see like what those are going to look like, where those are going to be installed now with this video. And then we're also looking here at the adjustable sound knobs. So we can adjust that sound too. It's not going to just be one default setting that it comes with, or we have to adjust that through the game or through the computer. We can do it right on the X Arcade, just right there on the top, easily to accessible, easy to get to adjust those sounds. So that's really cool too. Really bump up the bass or treble based on which pinball game you're playing. Some have more bass than others. Maybe you want to turn it up on certain pinball tables. You'll have that adjustability. Now this is cool too. So right now, how I nudge is I use the joystick on the left side, or I use one of the arcade buttons on the game deck on the top that I can reach with my thumb, right? When I'm holding the flipper button. Well, now I'm not going to have to reach a button or a joystick in order to nudge the machine. I can literally just tap the machine on the left side or the right side, and it's going to do that function for me. Or I can nudge it on the front. I can tap it on the front, and it will also nudge it, just like a real pinball machine would. And then you can move it, and it's going to, like the ball will move with which way you're moving the X Arcade, just like how a real ball would roll on a real pinball table. So this is where the interactiveness of this really starts to come full circle, right? We're going to have everything we're feeling and experiencing on a real pinball machine just virtually with this X Arcade. And then we get a real plunger, which will mount there right on the front. Keep in mind there are going to be some holes we're going to have to drill, but it's going to come with the instructions for that and a guide and everything to make it really simple and easy for us to install. But that plunger will go with the game. It'll be interactive and integrated with Pinball FX VR. Hoping all this will be interactive and integrated into Pinball FX and Pinball M as well, because I wouldn't want this to just work with VR pinball. I'd want to also play it, you know, on my Steam Pinball FX, and for all this to work just like it does in VR, also on a flat screen as well. So we haven't heard that yet, if that's the case, because I know they partnered with Zen on the Pinball FX VR, but I don't know if they've partnered with Zen on FX or Pinball M for flat screen. So we'll have to wait and see on that, but I'm hopeful that it'll work for that too. So here's all our details on what we're getting. We're getting that new back panel with the two 25-watt speakers that go right there on top. Perfect, because that's just an open, empty space right now. 4X on the vibration modules, one optical plunger, one main PCB. So there's a new PCB we're going to install in there. Wiring harness, wireless dongle V2, because we got this little dongle that goes in our VR headset. We're going to get a new one for this kit. Drilling template sticker to make sure we know where we're going to drill any holes. 3 drill heads, instruction manual, and a new 120-watt power supply, because you're going to need additional power to run all this. And I think this is incredible, right? $150, but then you got the promo code. You're getting it for less than that. To be able to get all these accessories that are meant for the XArcade, with the instructions, everything already written out for you on what you got to do, make it as simple as possible. I don't think you can beat that. And then there's also like the full-on kit you can get, where you can get the XArcade with this all in one package. That's coming as well. So either you own the XArcade and you're buying this separately as an add-on that you're going to install later on your own, or I think you're going to be able to buy this in a bundle, and the bundle will either come with it pre-installed, or you still have to install it yourself. Not quite sure yet if they're going to come out with a pre-installed bundle. I don't think I've seen that quite yet, but I'm sure it's coming. So KevGrad, I have not seen KevGrad in the chat tonight. Unfortunately, I wish he was here so I could recognize him, but he got some really big recognition this week from XArcade, because they've been promoting his content in an email that just hit my inbox today. And this came straight from the XArcade promotional email I got today. It says XArcade Arcade to TV XR Next Level Mod. And this is the exact mod that I went over with you guys last week, where I did the vertical screen, I did the DMD, and I did exactly like KevGrad was showing off in his videos. And so funny that today we got this email, but it says, at KevGrad took his XArcade pinball and added not one, but 2 game-changing mods. And it's got links to his external DMD mod, which I did and I love. And it's got the back glass artwork mod. And I don't think so the first video here, I've got this exact setup, right? Which is the vertical 27-inch monitor or TV set on a vertical stand in front of it, with a small, like 15-inch DMD screen right below it. And this is a great setup. I'm loving it. I'm putting in hours and hours of pinball with this setup, and I'm loving it. The VR's fun. I love putting on the headset and getting a little VR in. But this is how I'm mainly playing. 90% of my pinball, virtual pinball in the XArcade, is like this, and with this exact setup, and I'm loving it. The second video he dropped is basically the same exact thing, except he's got his back glass image behind the DMD image. So on that small 15-inch screen underneath, he's basically got both the back glass and he's got the DMD feed going to that one screen there. So what I did is I did something a little bit different. I ordered a third screen, which I'm going to mount above my playfield screen, and that's going to be my back glass screen. And so like just right above his main playfield screen, that vertical 27 inch, I've got an 11 inch screen that I ordered, and I bought a mount that's going to mount it just directly above that, and that's going to be my back glass. And in fact, I think that just got delivered when I was on air, because I heard someone knock on my door earlier. So I think it's here. I actually think it's at the front door right now. But let me see here. If I don't think I can find that exact one that I purchased, but I can kind of give you guys an image of what it looks like here. But it's just a small 11-inch screen. I'm going to install this probably tomorrow. So I'll let you guys know what it looks like and everything, but pretty much this is what I got. An 11-inch small portable monitor, and this one's $59.90. I paid $40 for mine. So my whole setup, which is exactly like what KevGrad did in these videos that we're looking at here. So I got the X-Arcade. X-Arcade is $299. The stand is $99, so it's $399 for that setup. The vertical screen that he has above it, I paid $80 for. I got a 100 hertz, 27-inch LG computer monitor. Looks good, plays good, colors are good on it. I paid $80 for that. I got a little 15-inch DMD screen underneath it, and I only paid $40 for that. There's, of course, the stand that holds the screens. I paid $40 for that. And then I've got the 11-inch screen that I'm going to put above it, which is going to have my back glass artwork, and I only paid $40 for that. So really, in all, and then I've got the pinball kit, which was $150. So it adds up, right? And you know, if you added everything up there, we can do that right now. In fact, you'll see it's really not that much money. And I'm an incredible virtual pinball setup. So $399 for the X-Arcade, $80 for the 27-inch monitor, $40 for the 15-inch monitor, $40 for the 11-inch monitor, $40 for the stand. And then I had an old speaker system set up, like an old home theater speaker system that I hooked up to it. I just already had that, so I didn't have to buy that. So I added all those numbers up. I added up all the accessories that I bought for it. I'm at $599 exact. So for less than $600, guys, you can have this KevGrad setup, and even have a third screen above it for your back glass. So you don't have to combine the two like what KevGrad did here. So awesome setup. I'm really enjoying it. I can't speak enough to you guys about how much more involved I am in virtual pinball now than I was before I got the X-Arcade. Like I'm playing in the Calling All Ballers pinball tournaments every week now. Trying to get involved in like Papa Brad's tournaments when I can. And then doing my monthly tournament, as well as I'm just playing pinball just for fun, you know, when I have extra time. So the X-Arcade's a ton of fun. Now, something else I did is I have like a screen stand that I showed you guys last week. Well, I can twist the vertical monitor, make it horizontal, just change the display settings on my computer. And I was playing Injustice 2 fighting game this week. Chaotic BPR was doing a giveaway on Rascal's guitar gear and gaming show he does every Tuesday night, and I had won Injustice 2, the fighting game, on that giveaway Tuesday night. So I was playing that a little bit on it, using the X-Arcade as my control panel for my arcade stick. Had a really good time with that. Played a little bit of Street Fighter 6 on there with the X-Arcade. A lot of fun. So you can do that too. You can do your horizontal game. You can do your vertical gaming. as well as you can do your VR gaming all with the X-Arcade. And it's an awesome piece of hardware. And it's I think like a must-own accessory. This whole idea that KevGrad had too just makes it that much better. Because when you take that VR headset off, you're going to want to still be able to play, and you can do that if you set yours up like this. And X-Arcade definitely took note, because KevGrad's not even like an influencer for X-Arcade. He's just like a customer of theirs. But they just enjoyed his content and what he was putting out so much that they are now promoting his stuff. And I guess they reached out to him, probably got his permission first, but was like, hey, can we link your videos, show your videos off? But congratulations, KevGrad, on the new X-Arcade email that went out about your videos. Yes, that came out today, actually. See what everybody else has to say. I know there's a lot of X-Arcade owners in the chat, so it was good that like Video Game Vegas is here talking about the X-Arcade. Papa Brad's Gaming says it is a lot of upgrades. He also says it's a good size, in my opinion, Jabba. It also heavy like a real pinball. Heavy metal, all caps. Papa Brad's Gaming says the solenoids in the at games are way too powerful and loud. They need to be able to turn the solenoids on or off. He also says the solenoids on the at games 4KP are cool for about 10 minutes and then they're crazy loud. Hopefully we can adjust these on the X-Arcade. We can adjust them to our liking so we don't run into that issue. He also says, I saw a mod guy that had the perfect way to do a real pinball. For the buttons, he put 2 real pinball flippers inside his V-pin. Okay, interesting. Real flippers and a virtual pinball table. Let's see here. Calvin Wong says, do you have a link for your mounting kit for the monitors? I should be able to get you guys a link. It may not be the exact one I bought, but it'll be similar. Vertical screen monitor mount, because these are pretty standard now, what I bought. It even has wheels, so you can move it around. See, oh, here, I found the exact one, and I actually paid more than what this listing is showing. I paid $40, and it looks like it's $37.99 right now on Amazon. Oh, it's saying my link is too long. Well, let me share it with you guys. Well, here, I'll just share the screen. So this is what I bought right here. Holds a 13 to 50 inch adjustable, so you can vertical or horizontal twist it just to the game that you're playing. It's got wheels and works perfect for this mod. And I actually paid more. I paid $40 for it. It's only $38 right now on Amazon. So go check that out if you want to set up this same mod. Devastator Omega says a lot better than the At Games Pinball. X-Arcade has solid hardware that will outlast the At Games. X-Arcade has solid hardware. I have to reiterate that because the the stand, right? It's got this metal stand that it comes in, or that you build, that you put the X-Arcade on. And this stand is solid metal. So not only is it heavy, it's stable. So when you're nudging the machine, when you're playing pinball, or you're being rough with it, or you're like trying to move it around, because like what you would do with a real pinball table, it can withstand that because it's like a solid steel metal stand that it sits on. And all the buttons are quality, like they feel really good. The sticks feel really good. The trackball is like amazing. I still haven't really got to fully test out that trackball yet, but just rolling it around, you can see how big and like quality that trackball is in the middle. The pinball buttons feel really good. The placement of those pinball buttons are perfect. I like how you can adjust it up and down to your liking and how tall you are. And then the fact that it's got the integration for VR is just icing on the cake. I mean, this game deck is like one of a kind. And if anyone in home arcade does not have the X Arcade yet, you should get it. It should be like a must own for any home arcade, no doubt about it. Because in what it offers and how different it is than everything else, and the value and the quality of what you're getting, it's a must buy. Now, Mikey Yoon says, Biggie D, did you make a product review on the X Arcade yet? I have not made a review yet. I have been thinking out how I'm going to do my review, what it's going to look like, kind of pre-planning all that stuff, but I have not actually yet begun to film or do my review yet. Really just discussing it on these streams. You know, it is part of my gaming life now. It's in my living room, so I've got like not only my opinion on what I observed, but also my opinion on what I'm experiencing with it. But definitely a review coming soon, guys. No doubt about it. All right, still no nudge buttons, but with that accelerometer, with the features of that pinball kit, you're not really going to need the nudge buttons anymore because you're going to physically nudge that machine and it's going to give you that feedback or that response that you need. All right, so closing thoughts, guys. I just wanted to kind of close. We're already at over 2 hours, so I'm not going to be talking much about this. We've got plenty of time to talk about it because this will not actually release until February of next year. It's just that this got announced during the Nintendo Direct this week. So I wanted to highlight it, wanted to discuss it with you tonight. But it's the Virtual Boy Nintendo Classics. So this is really cool. It's going to be an accessory for your Nintendo Switch 1 or 2, which essentially allows you to slide in your Switch into the accessory and play Virtual Boy games. If you guys remember when the Switch 2 came out, I was like, there's something about this new system. They're going to be making a virtual reality headset for it. I just know it. It's just a matter of time. Well, I was a little bit off. It's not a new virtual reality headset. It's a Virtual Boy, which is really just like, you know, they got the GameCube on their Arcade Classics subscription plan that they recently added. They got the N64, Super Nintendo, NES, Game Boy Advance. Now you've got Virtual Boy added to that library, and you'll be able to play them with like a setup just like you did with the original Virtual Boy with this accessory. So this is awesome. This is your games list here that you're going to be looking at, which had a really good games list. I remember growing up when this came out. Mario Tennis is really good. That Red Alarm, Wario Land, Tetris, Space Invaders, Golf. You got some really good Virtual Boy games to play. Eventually all 14 games will be released on this. And there'll be a couple of options. You can spend $100 for the actual real looking Virtual Boy accessory, or you can just buy this like cardboard model, which is $25, essentially allowing you to just like put it on your face and give you that similar experience of a Virtual Boy with just a cheap cardboard accessory. Very reminiscent of that Labo VR headset, if you guys remember that back when that came out. But definitely going all in, spending the $100 for the Virtual Boy accessory, because I think this would be a cool little accessory just to have like on your shelf, even if you don't play it a ton, or maybe you decide that you don't want to pay for the subscription anymore and you get cut off from the Virtual Boy games. You'll still have the accessory. You can still, set that on your shelf somewhere. Cool little thing to have. And hopefully eventually, I'm not a huge fan of like how all these great old games are getting released under their subscription plan. I wish they would make these available for purchase, because not all of us want to, pay a monthly fee to be able to play games. We'd like to own them. So I'd like to see them expand this library, maybe add some new Virtual Boy games to it that you can buy, or open up the original library to purchase. I think is something Nintendo needs to eventually do. I know they're making boatloads of money off their subscription plans, but why not make these available for purchase as well? Kind of like the Virtual Console on the Wii U, where we could buy all the games. I'd like to see them do that. I don't think that they will, but I'd love to see them, open that up. Now, I also did a short not too long ago. That short really took off because I was predicting that the next big Switch 2 first party release was going to be Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Switch 2. And boy, I was close, but I wasn't exact. So that short got 34,000 views. So it did very well. But I was wanting to just highlight that there was a lot of speculation out there in the community, in the gaming community, Nintendo, YouTube, like that Super Mario Galaxy 2 was coming to the Switch 2, and it was either going to be a remaster or a remake or a re-release of that Super Mario Galaxy 2. So I actually went out and bought it on the Wii, and I've been playing it. It's a great game. Never played it when it originally released. And I also never picked up that 3D All-Stars, which had the Super Mario Galaxy for the Switch. They announced this week the Galaxy and Galaxy 2 combo release for the Switch. And of course, you can play it on the Switch 2. It's going to be $80. Definitely gonna, no, $70. $70. I'm definitely going to pick this up. And I'm going to pick up the bundle, the physical cart that has both games on it. Now, one thing I did notice is you can buy these individually digitally. So that's good, you know, for the people that bought the 3D All-Stars that had Galaxy already for the Switch. They can just buy Super Mario Galaxy 2 digitally, but it's going to be $40. Or you can buy both games digitally or physically for $70. And I'm going to end up buying both. But great to see this. And these are coming soon. So these are releasing on October 2nd. So in less than 3 weeks, I'll be getting this. And I'll be playing some Super Mario Galaxy on the Switch, which is good because, I mean, I do enjoy playing it on the Wii with the motion controls, but I always felt like you should be able to play it on a controller just normal, you know, with the joystick on the controller. And you just can't in that way. But now you will. So good to see that this released. Also, they announced the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I was a really big fan of the Super Mario Brothers movie that released, what was that, last year or the year before. Thought they really did a good job with it. Really translated from the video game to the movie very well. Thought Illumination did an excellent job in basically, you know, making it into a movie and an enjoyable one at that. And now they're doing the second one, and it's going to be based on the Galaxy series of games. So he's going to outer space, he's going to different worlds, and we're going to be experiencing all these great Nintendo characters from all these different Galaxy games as well. So really looking forward to everything that Nintendo has going on. This Direct was big. There's more that went on in this Direct that I have time to talk about tonight, whether that be Metroid releasing, whether that be Mario Wonder getting released on the Switch 2, like a remake of it, or I guess a re-release with some additional content of Mario Wonder. There's a bunch of other games too, lots of games that were talked about during this Nintendo Direct this week. But the highlights for me were the Virtual Boy coming out early next year in February. The Galaxy games, because those are just right around the corner. Those are in just a couple weeks, and I had already predicted that ahead of time. And then the movie, the Galaxy movie, I'm really pumped for that because I thought the Super Mario Brothers movie was really good. So I did catch one of KevGrad. KevGrad's on top of stuff right now, but he had posted about the Amiibos, which were coming in at $50. So there is a lot of, you know, talk and discussion out there about how Nintendo's price gouging people with these prices. You know, $70 for the Galaxy 1 and 2 remakes on the Switch. It's kind of high. But every once in a while you have to fork out those high prices in order to get the quality Nintendo nostalgia you get with these games. They definitely earn their money. So I'll pay it every once in a while, but I definitely feel the community and the gaming community talking about these high prices and how it's getting a little bit outrageous. But Video Game Vegas says, I want to use Dance Dance Revolution pad to play my pinball. Thinking too about like other accessories that Nintendo could release. You know, are they going to release a Power Glove? Are they going to release the pad? You remember, guys, the trackpad that you would stand on and you'd run on for the Nintendo? Are they going to ever release that? Are they going to release the Super Scope? You know, all this stuff could eventually is open to probably be re-released under this new Nintendo business model, using this service, this monthly service, as a way to release these games, make additional money. I think they'll probably end up eventually re-releasing all these accessories and games. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. I think we've covered it. We've gone almost 2 hours and 15 minutes, kind of going a little bit over tonight, but there's just so much that hit this week. There was just so much news, not only for home arcade, but, you know, with the Nintendo, with X Arcade, all that stuff that I wanted to cover with you guys. So I appreciate everybody hanging out with me tonight. All the regulars here in the chat here at the end, Jabba, Video Game Vegas, Papa Brad's Gaming. Good to see all you guys hanging out. Not only being regular viewers, but really contributing to the chat tonight, making your voices be heard. Also, Steps Turbo is here saying, wow, over 2 hours tonight. We have been discussing these topics now. Crazy that I can just go off for this amount of time and just speak my mind and you guys enjoy listening is great. So you guys have an awesome weekend or rest of Sunday night. Have a really good week on Monday morning. Great start to the week. I'll be keeping up with everything we've discussed tonight, so next Sunday we can follow up on all this. Hopefully we've got some more details on the basic fun cabinets, because there's still a lot of unknowns, especially with that Supreme cabinet. Interested to see what's going on with the Iconic Arcade. Are we going to get any news between now and next week for it? And then X Arcade, going to be playing that over the next week. So hopefully I've got some more stuff for you to discuss next week for it. And again, GIJoel gaming cabinets. Again, want to tell you guys how wrong I was. I should have not been critical of this, because I did not fully know what these cabinets had to offer until, thanks to James Hates Everything and thanks to Multicade Matt, that we were able to see just how awesome of a product GIJoel has made with these new gaming cabinets. So you guys go check him out as well. But I will see everyone very soon. Make sure to join the Jaws Pinball Tournament. Make sure to get involved in that. I'll be updating scores throughout the week, so you can keep track of that on Home Arcade, at homearcades.com, as well as my community post. But I'll see everyone in the next one, and I'll talk to all y'all later here very soon. Bye-bye.